Hi friends, welcome back or to the channel. So as you can see, it's a beautiful Saturday morning here, and got some stuff for this guy. Pretty excited about it actually. Yesterday I was out here messing around and I got the exhaust fixed for now, because before, when this truck had the FE motor in it, these were the collectors. The exhaust was ran exactly where I needed it, but the collectors on a FE are like 3/4 of an inch wider than they are on a small block. So I had to pull the exhaust completely out from underneath the truck, because it is one piece from the collector to the back of the bed. So I had to fish the whole thing out from underneath the truck and cut the collector off, which I don't know what pipe they use, but it did not cut very well. This one did. This one cut pretty decent, but the other one did not. But it was fun. It was more or less just the passenger side went pretty well. This I had to cut off because somebody used the original Y pipe. They just cut and capped. If you want to call it a cap, they welded a big ass washer in here. Somebody cut and capped that, and it was just stuck. I should have cut all that shit out before I put the engine in, but I didn't think I thought it would work. You know, I didn't measure the collector bolt difference. It just was in the same spot. It looked like it lined up. I just thought, what the hell, it'll work, because I do plan on running all new exhaust under this truck anyway. But for now, I just wanted to get what's here hooked to the engine so it wasn't so loud up front when I'm trying to adjust the timing and shit like that on it. So I got it figured out. The passenger side was an absolute joke. The pipes were bent all crooked, and I welded the collector on crooked because I assumed if I cut them both straight that I could just weld it back together straight, and that's not the case. So I spent over an hour climbing in and out back underneath the truck with the same chunk, because I cut the chunk of pipe down to like 3.5 foot, and it was climbing in and out all the time for about an hour trying to get it bent correctly, because one of the bends, it just didn't line up, because like I said, I welded it crooked, and because this thing has a PTO, I can't just set it in there. It has to be in a very it was a mess, but it's done. It now has kind of exhaust on it, and it'll probably sound all right, because it's, you know, it's 2-inch with blue streak farmer mufflers underneath it. It'll probably sound good, but it's not what I want. So for now, it's going to work just fine. Now that the exhaust is done, I do have the radiator. I mocked it in here yesterday just to make sure that it's going to line up, because this radiator is gigantic. I've got some hoses here that I picked up from the parts house. Temporarily looped the water pump back to itself because I don't have enough 5/8 hose to go to the heater core, but this is going to work. I still need to get a plug for this, because right now I just cut a chunk of pipe and hose clamped a bolt in there, and it's not going to leak. That's all that matters. So, also, I apparently do not have flat washers in my bolt collection, so I don't know what any of this shit is, but I do know that it's going to work for now. I'll get some proper flat washers later, but for now, I just want to get the radiator in the truck and get one step closer to making it run. I mean, it does run, but you know what I mean. Like, I want it to actually run for a little while and set the timing and make sure that it gets up to temperature and all that fancy stuff. So the radiator that I bought is an eBay special, and it is a direct replacement for the original, for like I can't remember what it is. It's like 68 to 79 or some shit. F-150, 250, 350. They're all the same radiator. So this is a direct, get out of here. This is a direct replacement. But I did buy one with two electric fans, and it came with all the relays and shit to wire it up. So in theory, this should be a better solution than just putting a factory radiator back in with the mechanical fan, which I do still have the mechanical fan. So if we have to go that route, I don't mind building a fan shroud, but I want to use the electrical ones for now, just because they supposedly will move a ton more air, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to find a good spot to set you guys up so we can drop the radiator in here. Oh, I need to remove these little clips here because I don't have the bolts for them. They're already gone off the driver's side. Sorry, right here off the driver's side. But I'm just going to pull these off, and I'm going to throw these in the bolt bin. Okay, this part I'm not excited about at all because I have to pick that radiator up, set it in here, hold it in place, and try to start one of the bolts. And the bolts are too small for the holes, but it's fine. It's okay. It'll be okay. So I've got, I say I've got, but I don't. I've got my flat washers on my bolts, sitting close-ish to where they need to go. So let's just do it. I had it in here yesterday for mock-up, and I may or may not have muffed up a few of the fins, but it's fine. There. Go in your hole. Right there. Right there. Now I'm going to set one in this side as well. Maybe. And then we can just let the weight of the radiator kind of hang off the bolts. Okay. Now we'll go. And remember, I do intend on coming back and changing these bolts out. So don't freak out. Don't say nothing. They're going to work for now. Good news is once I get this in place, then all we have to do is come back one bolt at a time. We can just swap them out. See? It's totally okay. I mean, realistically, the bolts are okay. Just as long as nobody pays too much attention to the washers, we're going to be fine. Right? Damn it. Oh, I'm so not excited about getting clear down there to that bottom one. I mean, it's fine. Getting it in from this side is the hard part. Let's see. Can we get it in there? Oh yeah, bud. Like a glove. Just got to hold the bolt from the back side and come in through the grill, which thank God these dent sides have gigantic holes in the grill. I feel like Ford did that on purpose. Okay. One more. This side. Clear down there. This side has a little less room to get my fingers into it, but it's okay. Because I got it. More stuff up here. You know, it doesn't feel like I've done too much to this truck, but looking back at the condition it was in when I bought it, man, this thing has come so far already. I mean, You guys remember when I bought it, it was a basket case. There was basically nothing. And I've put steering in it completely. Well, I found 2 engines to make this work. But I did a full rebuild on the engine. It now will have a cooling system by the end of today. Yeah, it's come a long ways. I found a gauge cluster. I put the dashboard all back together in it. It's coming along. Now, this is kind of in place. I'm going to pick this up a little bit and tighten these bolts. Radiator is in. Bolts are tight. Now, pull the condoms off the water spouts, or the water outlets, or whatever you want to call them. And I think I may have to buy a different water neck for the upper hose, because these look like 2 different sizes. The lower one, however, is the correct size. So my upper radiator hose is definitely not going to work. So that's super fun. See? The neck. I'm going to have to go down to CarQuest and see if they have a hose that chokes down to 1.5 inches from 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and run the lower, since I'm right here anyway. Not the one. This one we can cut. We can cut and make it enough. So we're going to have to take a few inches off of this up here, probably down, that far. Since I didn't bring anything over here to mark it, you can see the mark. And then once we get that one fitted, we'll cut for the radiator itself. Psych, we're not doing hoses. A little aggressive with how much I cut off, and this one is 2 inches too short both ways ish. And the upper one, like I said, I have to go find a custom hose, because this is 1.5 inches, this is 1 3/4 inches. So I marked all this stuff where it needs like the dimensions on it and shit. And we're just gonna have to go to CarQuest and pick up some more hoses, and then come back and continue, I guess. Kind of forgot that I was filming today. I left off with this being put in, but I went to town, got some hoses, got a flexi hose that was the same length as the one that I sabotaged, and it's not long enough. So the piece that I cut off the original hose, we just put together right here, because I bought one of these universal radiator kits when I built the shop truck, and they come with these little pieces that you can piece your radiator hose together with if you need to. They're just like little plastic couplers. People say they're not great, but I haven't had a problem with it on the shop truck yet, so this is going to be just fine. Now the top hose, on the other hand, I picked one up that we both agreed, me and the lady at the parts counter, was perfect, and we were both wrong. So I have this weird 45 here that I've cut and stuck a piece of pipe in right there, and I think it'll work. I don't know. We'll find out until it's got water in it. So basically what I'm saying is, in theory, the cooling system is all dried in, sealed up, and should be ready to accept coolant. But like I said, I do want to take this piece of pipe out and put a couple of tacks around both sides, just so the hoses have something to hold on to before they just blow off, Then I kind of got carried away, because I can't put the belt on for the water pump until I mount the alternator. And I've got the top one figured out, but we have to go underneath to figure out the bottom one. And I think I figured it out. I had this, because remember I told you guys I had all kinds of weird, goofy shit on the back of this truck. I had this bracket here. you can see is a couple of brackets been welded together. So I didn't feel bad about cutting it up. And I made this little step offset deal. I'm going to climb underneath there and see if this will work. My thought is use this bolt here off the timing mark for that. And up there, just need a little tiny spacer off the back of the alternator right there. And that should work. Then in theory, I should be able to put the belt on, tighten up the alternator, and it should spin the water pump, which means the cooling system should work and function once I put coolant in it. So I'm going to slide up underneath here, take that water pump bracket out, or the water pump bolt out, put this new bracket in place, and get a measurement on how thick of a spacer I need to build or cut or whatever, and then find a bolt, and the alternator should be ready to go. So I'll be back. Okay, had to slightly modify that edge just a little bit. It was too thick on this one side, and had a pretty good idea. So let's get back over there. I will show you. So rather than use that bolt, I went and bought, when I put this water pump on, some of my bolts didn't fit. So I went to the parts store and I bought a water pump bolt kit for 302, and it comes with these studs that have threads on the other end of them. So, oh man. So I changed the bolt out for that stud, and that's why I had to modify this. Check this out. It fits perfectly. I mean, once I get it all tightened up and stuff, but pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. I think it's doing all right. I'm trying to tighten this bolt up all the way. Or not all the way, just get it snugged up, you know, turn it up. Now, we've got good contact there. Up on top where the alternator adjuster is mounted, I'll just take that nut loose and drop the adjuster down a little bit and get this bolt put in. Now we have to find a bolt to go in right here, but that shouldn't be too difficult because I have a plethora of bolts around here somewhere, so shouldn't be hard to find a bolt. I just need to get a measurement and go basically just tip over a bucket of bolts in the garage and find one that fits. This has been a joke, but we're getting closer. Everything I put on this that's correct, we're getting closer and closer to driving this deal. Well, went through all the work of getting the alternator mounted up down there, got it mounted up here. And that's at the end of the collar. So that means the alternator is not moved out far enough, or I need to try to find a shorter serpentine belt, which shouldn't be difficult, but I need to figure out which direction I'm going to go, because if I just decide to go with a shorter alternator or shorter serpentine belt, I think the mount that I have will work just fine. But if I decide to go with a longer mount, then the belt I have will work just fine. So this is my conundrum. But I do have this one. I might slide this up underneath there and see if I can make that work, because it's pretty much the same angle. It's a little more aggressive, but it's pretty much the same angle. Maybe I'll slide this up underneath there and see if I can just push that alternator out just a little bit more. Maybe it'll work, but my finger's throbbing because I smashed the dog shit out of it. I don't know how much more I have left in me today for this truck, So I'm going to slide up underneath there and try this bracket. And if this don't fix it, I'm just going to shut the hood and call it a day. Still didn't fix the bracketry, but it's close. And I'm getting my ass kicked here, but to cheer myself up, I'm going to just bust this thing off. Let's see. The power wire from a coil. Clip it to there. Right there. Maybe? There we go. That's not happy. Pretty wicked exhaust leak too. Yeah, buddy. No more rust coming out, so that's good. Huh?
He finally started it!
Yeah. He's running out of gas too. There it goes. But that's good enough for today. It's the officially the longest that engine has ran. So that's good. What a mess today has been, folks. Don't get into this shit. This is stupid. I've had so many problems trying to get to this point, man. It's ridiculous. But sounds good. Get off the rust. I blew out of my tailpipe. That's my favorite part. Yeah, still got to battle the charging system. Still got to figure out how I'm going to mount the power steering pump. But I do have serpentine belt power steering pump. I just need to use these 3 holes here to mount it. We should be fine. So there's that. Let's get this undone. What do you guys think? I think it sounds pretty good. I think it runs good. Definitely not in time, but that's expected because I haven't timed it. But now that I have the battery in it, I'm going to do a light check and a smoke check. I don't see any smoke yet, but we're going to check the lights, and I'm also going to see, because I got a couple of random toggle switches in the dash, and I got to see which one of them runs that cool ass beacon up on the top, because I'm dying to see that thing rotate. There is a bunch of wiring over here that I have no idea where it all goes to, but I need to figure this out because I'm pretty sure that's the problem with none of this shit working. But that's a mystery for another day. We're just going to wrap this one here. We're going to say cooling system is done. Charging system is almost done. I don't have any of the wiring hooked up to the alternator yet, but we're getting there. A little bit at a time. We're making progress still, so that's all that matters. If you're still here, thank you. Appreciate you. Now you've actually heard the engine run with the exhaust and the terrible exhaust leak that it has. But, you know, shit happens. What are you going to do, you know? Remember, guys, your dreams aren't going to work unless you do. So buy a project. Tear some shit apart. Learn something. There's no I don't want to say there's no wrong way to do this, because there definitely is, but there's no limits to what you can accomplish if you just set your mind to shit. Love you, bye.